What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of live racing here at Parx in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. Track Announcer Chris Griffin here in the Parx Racing Studio on Out of the Gate. Voice is feeling a little bit better this afternoon. We're ready to get things underway here. 11 races coming up, but we got all kinds of great things to talk about. Last week, obviously, the Kentucky Derby. Big race on Saturday. We had some great racing last week as well on Monday and Tuesday. So speaking of some of those races, let's take a look at some of those winners. It's the Parx Playback.
Parx Playback time, here we go. Big time move from apprentice Aduviel Ignacio. A decisive move, if you will. Decisive cause with a big run and gets her first career victory. Give me a full order of French toast and a side of winning. Gerard Barbosa, another hot riding apprentice, gets the win, this time in the 10-strike Racing Silks. He had a big week. They both had a big week. Sylvester Gonzalez and Bobby Mosco. They were a dominant connection, and Jeeber off the layoff with the score. On Tuesday, lean on me when you're not strong. Ruben Silvera flexing down the stretch for Lou Linder Jr., well prepared for the comeback and right into the winner's circle. And look who's back, right here in Philly, Paco Lopez. And you look cold, looking cold as ice with a big stretch run and a game victory. Have a great week.
That's the Parx Playback right here at Parx. We had some nice winners last week. Hopefully you enjoyed that beautiful singing as well. I know people out there like it quite a bit. Let's talk about race number 1 as we take a look at this Monday afternoon card. Number 4, Mischievous Jones. Today's got to be the day, I think. This horse is meeting some rivals in here that is familiar with. I think Ice Bar is pretty interesting towards the outside. A drop in class here from the maiden special weight down to the maiden $25,000 level. That class drop usually can mean that they go right to the winner's circle, but I think the number 4, Mischievous Jones, he's knocking on the door. Good second last time out at the State Bred Maiden 25. Should take the next step forward. Going to be a short price in the opener, but the 4 is the top choice. Race number 2, a mile and 70 yards, 7,500 non-4 lifetime race. When you take a look at this race in here, I'm going to have a preview for this race when you take a look at our live show. But the number 2, One Nation, we're going to take a look at this replay. Horse is a really deep closer. I guess the only thing that you start to take a look at is, look, the horse ran for the optional 25, ran for the optional 16. Now they drop into the 7,500 non-4. The claiming tag right here, I would have to think that some of the connections might want to take a look at this and see a horse that's been running, at a pretty consistent level. Now takes the big drop, 2 for 6 of the distance. You see just kind of a grinding effort up on the outside. Jamie Rodriguez was aboard that afternoon. Ruben Silvera is going to pick up the mount this afternoon. Beautiful day outside, so I think you're going to catch a fast main track. One Nation needs the right setup, but a significant drop in class should put the 2 right there in the winner's circle. The number 4, Sophos, I put that one in the exacta. Maybe we get some value in the exacta, but looking at a short price in today's second. Let's hear everything that's going on our wonderful YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe. Check it out. Race number 3, taking a look at a 7-furlong race in here, optional $16,000 event. And when you take a look at the number 7, Frame This, again, another horse that continues to keep grinding here at this level. Has a second, has a third, another third prior to that. That was over a sloppy main track. Now, 0 for 5 at the distance, that concerns me. Has not won over a fast main track. It depends on how short the price is going to be, but where else do you go in this race? I do see some speed. I see some horses that could set it up. Frame This seems to run the most consistent type numbers at the level, has the outside draw. I think gets the right trip, gets the win in today's third. Race number 4, 1 mile is the distance, $5,000 claiming race in here. And these are familiar names that we've seen. There are horses coming off of layoffs in here. That makes me a little concerned for my top pick. The 6 in Marco Island has not been seen since March. Prior to that, hadn't been seen since December. Gerard Barbosa, we've talked about this young apprentice. He's really showed up and he's picked up some live mounts. This horse has speed. I think when you get a weight break like this, you're going to tote 116. I think they send right out of the gate, go to the front. and see if they can catch this runner this afternoon. At the $5,000 level, I'd rather have some front end speed, a horse that I feel like can run away from the rest. And this horse has taken a significant drop in class. Comes out of a starter race. Prior to that, a couple starter races. I mean, hasn't seen this $5,000 tag, it looks like ever. So significant drop in class. Take a look at the horse when the horse comes onto the track. But this is a horse that is 3 to 1 in the morning line, probably goes off a little bit shorter. And as I say, if the 6 is in front, I do think that the 6 can keep going on the front end this afternoon. We'll see what happens there. It's a competitive field in there, though. There are some horses coming off of layoffs, so a little tough to figure out there in race number 4. Race number 5 at 1 mile, 12.5, non-3 lifetime race in here, nurturing to the inside draw. I'm going to talk about this during the live show, but the horse had 2 starts that I'm really not sure what to take from them. The last start was over a muddy track, didn't seem to really relish the surface. 2 starts back, it was a wide run. This horse broke from the 7 post position, had an outside draw, was kind of settling in behind pace setters, didn't have enough to get up to the front, made a wide run as they went to the backstretch, and this horse was wide throughout, just kind of backed up out of it. 3 starts back, second beaten 6. I think that effort fits with the rest of these. We'll see if Scott Lake can get the number 1 nurturing to the winner's circle. That's another tough race, though. If it's not nurturing, it's a really wide open event. Paco Lopez is going to be aboard the number 5. I've got that one on the ticket as well. You take a look at the number 3, the biggest one. First off the claim for Harold Weiner. That barn continues to do quite well first off the claim. So it's a tough 5th race, tough to put it together. Hopefully you will follow along all the racing action here when we get to the live show later this afternoon. Hey, we got a chance to catch up with the trainer that's very well known here on the East Coast. Let's learn more about trainer Kathleen DeMasi.
Trainer Kate Demassi has been around horses and racing for pretty much her entire life. Her career has always been on the East Coast.
I grew up in Maryland and on the Eastern Shore. We had a small farm and we had some horses just because my parents liked them, but they weren't big owners or anything like that. It was more just dabbling. I started in like 1984, ran my first horse. I forget what, actually it was Penn National. And it won, first time out. How about that? First timer, yes, first time starter, first time trainer. Oh, it doesn't get better than that, right? It's like, how lucky did I get? But I have to tell you, that horse was a lot of work. And looking back, I'm surprised he even was able to win.
Kate Demassi was at several tracks early on, and her stable made its way to Parx.
I went to Delaware Park, I guess it was like in 1984 is when I started training there, and I had an owner that had, worked out getting me some stabling there at the time. It wasn't the same as what it is today. It was pre-casino, the purses and all that kind of stuff. It was a different ball of wax. When Garden State opened in 1985, I made the jump over to there, thought I was really living the big life there, was like Garden State. And then it was a natural jump to come over here because they were running actually as a team. They would run day and nights there for a while. I mean, so Garden State was the next step.
Every trainer relies on a great team. Kate Demassi has just that.
I have a really good assistant here. She's here super early. My team's in here early. I live about an hour away, so I'm here for training, and I'm here all day for the races. You're not going to go home and come back. So on the race days, you're pretty much you're going to be here all day long, and on the dark days, you try to find something fun to do when you get done here.
Kate Demassi has an admiration and respect for the horses and the riders.
Well, I'm going to tell you about a horse because, I'm showing my age here. I was talking about this horse the other day. Port Conway Lane. He won over 50 races. He raced till he was, I think, 12 or 13, and then he was officially retired. They don't have horses like that anymore. Winning 50 races is a lot of races to win. I think that some people really have a gift in horseback riding. I mean, I've seen people that have maybe had a handful of lessons, and I'm like looking at them going, wow, you look like you've been riding for a couple years. There's some riders out here in the morning that you just can see the way they sit on a horse, the way they get along with them. One of my favorites is Julie Crone. I remember her when she was, riding around here, and just the way she sat on a horse, it was like she was part of the horse. She had a way with them.
trainers and owners communicate about all of their horses. Trainer Kate DeMasi is very upfront with her owners.
I have some really good owners. They like the truth, and it's nice to be able to tell them the truth. Some owners, they just can't seem to take it. You have to sugarcoat it, and I tell them all the time, it's like, you're going to hear the blunt truth from me, about a horse. So whether it's a horse that, has a problem, needs to go home, or this needs to find a new job, or hey, this is a nice horse, whatever. But so I've been lucky. I've had some really good owners over the years.
Which race would Kate DeMasi like to win?
Well, it'd be really cool to win the Pennsylvania Derby, but I've always wanted to win the Black-Eyed Susans and the Preakness for some reason, because I guess being a Marylander, it's like, those are like the two races that it would be nice to have a horse that could do that.
What have horses taught Kate DeMasi through her career?
I think the number one thing that horses have taught me is patience. If I get in a hurry, it just backfires. Whether that's handling a baby horse, a brood mare, or a racehorse that doesn't want to go on the gate. Patience. And you have to know when to say, I need to take a back step with this horse, because it's just starting to get too much for him. I think overall I tend to do better with fillies, and I don't know why. Everybody says my horses like the grass. I guess just because I'm more apt to experiment on them, and so I've got a lot of grass horses over the years. So the fillies on the grass, I've had a couple real nice fillies that were grass horses, 5/8 specialists. But I think probably overall the fillies.
What advice does trainer Kate DeMasi have for young trainers?
I think the best thing they could do is work for several trainers that they consider top trainers, and I would explore the country. Don't just be in one area. I think a lot of people that have had the opportunity to go to California and work for some of the trainers there, maybe New York, really, you can take a lot of ideas from a lot of different places.
That was the Hall of Famer, Kate DeMasi. Appreciate her taking the time. Got some great work there from the best TV crew in the business. Some really great editing work there as far as getting that interview done. And how about, just talking about the Preakness. She wants to win the Black-Eyed Susans or the Preakness. It's almost like we planned it that way, because the Preakness is coming up in 2 weeks. We didn't, but it seems pretty cool that it kind of fell in that way. So we'll see what happens with the Kate DeMasi barn. Many more winners coming right here at Parx. Race number 6, taking a look at the 6 furlong race, maiden $40,000 race in here. Horses shipping in from the West Coast, from Santa Anita, had shown some speed in those starts. 2 starts back. Take a look at this maiden special weight effort. On March 5th, this horse ran against Taba. Taba was one of the top betting choices in the Kentucky Derby, which was ran on Saturday. So a 3-year-old colt that drops into this maiden $40,000 spot, I guess that's kind of what you might question in here. Slight drop, in for the $40,000 tag, now moves from the West Coast to the East Coast. 2-1 in the morning line. I think it'll be shorter than that. Magic in the Moonlight, top choice here for the red hot Scott Lake barn. Race number 7 is going to kick off the Philly Big 5. And we got a big carryover jackpot here in the Philly Big 5. $449,368.66. It's a jackpot bet. It's always the last 5 of the day. It's a pick 5 format, a 50-cent minimum with a 15% takeout. So you can take down this entire pool if you're the single ticket winner. We're talking about approaching $500,000, $500,000 right now. As far as this wager on a Monday afternoon, get involved. It starts in race number 7, and this is a tough start to the sequence. 6.5 furlongs of distance, optional 25. You talk about the 4. If it's not the 4, I really don't know who it can end up being, because you got the horse that's claimed off of the effort for 25 on 2 at Aqueduct. Jim Ryerson, a 3-year-old filly by Cantharos. Paco Lopez, 4-1. That price is going to come down. You just notice when he gets on these horses here at Parx, they get bet, and they're running very well. So I think that the 4 Saratoga Kisses, finishing behind a return winner, comes back in a very strong spot here. I think it'll be a little bit shorter than 4-1. We'll find out when they get to closer to post, but it's a tough start to the Philly Big 5. Show them who's boss. The connections like this horse a little bit. had been running at Delaware, now at Penn in that first start back, second beaten 4 1/4 lengths, now comes over here to Parx. We'll see. With the rail draw, 5-1, you do pick up Jimmy Rodriguez, a 3-year-old filly by Holy Boss. She's got a shot in there. And then take a look at the number 6 Touring Marianne, Harold Weiner. She won her debut. She's got to improve. But if she can continue to improve, she can possibly get to the winner's circle as well. As we continue on, taking a look at, I believe we're going to take a look at the performance of the week. That's right. We're going to take a look at a race last week. Jockey Sylvester Gonzalez, he continues to pop up on these performances of the week. But trainer Bobby Mosco, they continue to be a red-hot pair here. Let's take a look at the performance of the week. Dreaming of Gerry, there was the performance of the week. You kind of wonder if they go see the horse in the barn every morning. Do they go, hello, Gerry? Do you think they do that? Nobody? Nobody? Nobody watches Seinfeld? That's all right. Race number 8, pretty big scratch of my top selection here of the 5. So the number 2, Bocce, is going to end up being the top choice. Horse has speed, is really going to relish the fact that Empress Irene isn't going to go in this race. Has some speed, second off the layoff. Comes in off of that effort at Laurel. You know, at 5.5 furlongs in the open $25,000 claiming race, Bocce has got a big shot in here. The price is going to come down a little bit, but this is another tough race. I mean, with Empress Irene out of there, this is a race where you can go a lot of different directions in here to try and find a top choice. I think you could make a case for about 3, 4, 5 horses in this race. So I'll go with the 2. The 3, Vic's Cool Cat, is right next door. 5-year-old mare. Kentucky bred, Butch Reed, Frankie Pennington teaming up in here. Second beaten a nose behind Shiro. Shiro was really, really game in that race. Vic's Cool Cat needed that effort. Hadn't been seen since June. Just mild progression should put this one right in the possibility for the win picture here in race number 8. Tough start to the late pick 4 sequence, and that's a tough second leg of your Philly Big 5. Race number 9 is going to be the last race that we talk about here. You'll have to wait for the late double for the live show. But number 4, Secret Alliance, he's coming out of the Federico Tessio, and that's a pretty good stakes race that usually sets up for a race like the Preakness, for a race like the Belmont. As we talk about these 3-year-olds, Secret Alliance, we're going to take a look at his start 2 starts back. It was his maiden breaking effort here at Parx. He wins at 6 furlongs. You just saw that this horse learned a lot in the first 2 starts. Really jumped up in the numbers. Flaco Explosivo ends up chasing in here, hasn't come back and gotten the maiden victory yet, has been kind of on the cusp. I think Secret Alliance, though, is this 3-year-old that continues to improve. Obviously, a 3-year-old gelding by Curlin. Kendra Carmouche is slated to ride the number 4 here this afternoon. This is another tough race in the sequence. I mean, I'm talking about these races in here, and yes, I'm landing on some favorites, but these look like lukewarm favorites to me. It's a tough Philly Big 5 sequence to put together. If you could put the ticket together and you can just get outside of some of these favorites in here, you could be looking at a big score here in a jackpot bet. Could you be the one single ticket winner to take down what probably ends up being about $500,000 here on a Monday afternoon? That's not a bad way to start your week off. We'll see what happens here with all the racing action coming up. I'm your track announcer, Chris Griffin, here in the Parx Racing Studio. We'll hopefully have some more guests, have some nicer weather as we continue on through the season, as we get into the summer months as well. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media channels. You can make sure you check us out on Twitter, at Parx Racing, at In the Grandstand. Check us out on YouTube, see all the race replays, see all of our great content. Hit that subscribe. We'll have the Kate Demassi interview up there as well. Follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. Great stuff over on Instagram, Parx_Racing. That's it for me here on Out of the Gate. I'll be back here next week on another Cool Shirt Monday. Enjoy all the live racing action right here at Parx.